All right. Hello, everybody. All right, how do this? Bam! And I'm back. Hello, everyone. TGIF, happy Friday to you. And if you're into Valentine, happy Valentine's Day to you. Hope it's going well. Hope it went well. Hope it's going well and continue to. What's happening is Friday night. Just got paid. You know what? They played that darn song so much, got tired of it. But hey, one hit wonder. But it is Friday and happy Friday to you guys. Hope it's going well. Hope your weather is fine. I'm hearing that there are storms in different places, which I haven't been checking the news like I normally have been, and shame on me. Shame on me. But we had our little reality check this week. We have been enjoying 30 degrees for like, ooh, 30 days straight, just about above freezing or right at freezing. We didn't have sun a lot of those times, but we still was enjoying that degree. But shoot, it has changed. I think we had like 19 yesterday, 14 today, or was it 10? It was something like that. But whatever it was, I didn't like it. When you got to start wearing that scarf around your mouth, it's like, oh, you're just all bundled up and ugh, just get on your nerves sometimes. All those clothes. But it's winter. Can't forget about it. It's going to be here for a little while for Chicago. It's been mild, but hey, things has changed. Our topic tonight is love, sex, and Valentine, and that was because that was a couple of topics that Ruby wanted to speak of. She said she was coming through tonight, so that's why it's the title. If it was up to me, well, my story is a little bit different, and I'll share that a little bit later. But I'll just go into a few things and ha 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 zero. I see that. And for you guys in the chat room, Crew and Callie Jane, just ask. I always want to say my name, just ask Sharp, but just DeAndre and Don TZ. How are you guys doing? Topaz. Thank you guys for coming through. Now, I was going to share that. Let's see what I got here. Kanye, Kanye West, or Kardashian, I'm not sure what name he's taking on these days. But did you know that for Valentine's Day, he gave away some Yeezy shoes? He was here in Chicago and he came in, he gave some of his shoes away. Not quite sure what that's all about, but that was his way of, I guess, celebrating Valentine's Day. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, I guess you didn't take a pair. But yeah, the West, he was here in Chicago giving out his Yeezy shoes. So that was kind of interesting. Also, I found, let's see, there was a bartender in Columbus, Indiana, and her patron, his tip was, I mean, his bill was $64, but he tipped her 2020. And I don't mean $20.20. I mean $2,020. That's the tip he gave her today for Valentine's Day. Wasn't that sweet? That was so sweet. Yes, it was. And then I saw something else where this guy, he was going to pay $25,000 for anyone that can find him a girlfriend. He's in Kansas. And he's a white guy, and he reminds you of, let's see, what is that show, the Andy Griffin show? the deputy, Barney Fife, that is what he looked like. And he's, I think it was 47 years old. Yeah. Nice house. That house I seen he has is nice. It's a two-story house. Everything in there was brand spanking new. And he wanted to have he wanted a girlfriend. He said, he's willing to give out $25,000. He's never been married or anything, and that's what he's willing to give out. I said, wow. It's a lot of people interested in doing some odd things for Valentine, but okay. And as I put on the screen here, Don Teasy says someone paid a C note and mortgage. Unless you're just referring to what I just said about the $2,020. But yeah, people are doing some interesting things. Greetings, DJ Music. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming, and welcome to the lovely lady here, our classic Ruby. She's in the building. Whoop whoop.
Hello, hello. Whoop, whoop. Who let the dogs out? And happy Valentine's Day, Shar, and to everyone listening, of course.
Oh, thank you so much.
All I gotta say is that guy sounds like he's from Kansas. Like, if I had to pick a state, Kansas sounded about right. Like, he paid 2020 to some waitress as a tip
Yeah.
and is just gonna just willing to give out. Like, I mean, it's only in Kansas that they haven't heard of some terminology that equals simp. And at that point, if you have, right, if you've heard of the terminology simp, however they call it, then you know that that is not the way to get a girlfriend. The guy who's willing to give away 20 odd $1,000 just for a girl to look his direction is the guy who is destined to be an orbital simp until he dies. So I'm just saying, he needs to go the opposite way with things. I understand, just being the regular, normal kind of guy didn't work out for him. He went the wrong way with this one, right? We got to be honest. He went the wrong way. He went super nice, oh so generous, philanthropist. We don't live in this society where that is seen as attractive. We live in a society where the opposite is seen as attractive. So, I mean, not too far to the opposite, but come on, got to get a little edge. Got to get a lot less nice. Let's put it that way. He's
Yeah.
like nice for no reason.
He's never been married, and he did create something, a type of website, because he tried online dating. He said it didn't work for him. He didn't like it. So he created something online to put people together as far as their profile that matches up.
Hmm.
And that's all I got a chance to really read of it. But that's something he wanted to do, and he has the money. So, but I do agree, paying for it like that. Um, what is it that people say? It's not tricking if you got it, but long term, uh, he's setting himself up. If you ask me, he's really setting himself up. So
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to think about it too, right? It's great that you have money and everything, but when you're just like, well, women want to see you purposefully having money to waste, right? And in such a way that that money to waste will be reserved for her, not for you know what I mean, the random everybody you bump into in the street. So and that's where I said like the philanthropist kind of thing, where you just are really loose with your money and trying to help everyone everywhere, and not for your own benefit at all. Like that is not the thing that people are looking for in today's society. They're not. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people who are out for Valentine's Day, and I can
yeah,
guarantee you that a whole bunch of, again, going back to this term simp, a whole bunch of simps have a date for the first time since last Valentine's Day. Um, And they they got that date because the women who allow him to, orbit around them know that he will pay for them to go to the best, fanciest restaurant, rent that special car, do the whole nine, and expect absolutely nothing in return and not be mad tomorrow when they're just friends still. Right. So, now he might not be that kind of guy. I'm just saying that that is the first thing that came to my mind when I heard this story. It didn't think like, oh, man of my dreams. Right. But I mean, I also am not the one who cares about money. I know, shock, awe, a whole bunch of posts tomorrow about how much of a liar Ruby is, but I was never the one that cared much about money, and how much a guy makes and him blowing his money all over the place, and I was never that person who needed that. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I had started dating young, and hey, well, I was a teen, and so you can't expect for a young man to have a lot of money, but
Mhm.
because where I grew up, I knew how to make a dollar. Well, I actually able to make a quarter out of a dollar. I used to really hustle my dollars, so coupons, whatever I had to do, sign up um, for the first buy one get one free or whatever I had to do. So I knew how
Mhm.
to manage money. So that never bothered me. You had a
Mhm.
quarter and I had a quarter. We were good. We were gonna be fine.
Mm, yeah.
So yeah, but that was being a young child or young girl. And but as far as I'm with you on this, this guy is he's gonna get it. That's all I can say. We might end up reading something about him later, but I'll say this before we get into the Valentine. What you have to add? Um, when I was actually looking online to read some things, I got this nice little blocker that told me that I have reached my limit of reading some of these things,
Mhm.
and I'm like, okay, all righty. So it's gone that far now that you're not able to read all these articles and stuff. So this was the Chicago Tribune. I don't know how many times I went on the site to read something, but they like, lady, that's
Mhm.
it. You've reached your free limit. So I went to the Wall Street Journal and they gave me the same message. And I'm like, I
Mhm.
haven't went online for the Wall Street Journal. So I tried to Google to see if they've merged or bought one another out or however, but some kind of way I believe they're one of the same because a lot of companies, they're newspaper companies, hey, they went out of business and bought folks out
Mhm.
because it's just not profitable to them. They're not getting the ad money.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, okay, well, just have to go around a little bit different and see if I can find some of the information I'd be looking for. And I'm not going as far as trying to clean my cookies and all that type of stuff just to read an article. There's other sites that you can go to. It's just I got comfortable with the Chicago Tribune. So, oh well
Right.
on you. Keep
Yep.
your articles. Nah.
Well, and you know what it is, right? Is that anyone under the age of about 40 doesn't read anymore, like at all. So, and if they do, it's like Twitter or Facebook, right? They
Okay.
do not read newspapers at all.
Hmm.
So, setting up, and I think this is what the newspapers figured out because every newspaper, almost, I will say almost every newspaper that I've come across, it's the exact same thing. You get let's say 3 articles or whatever a month for free. If you want to have more than that, then you've got to sign up. Some of them outright make you pay. So I'm not sure if the ones that make you sign up, make you pay as well. I don't bother. I can't be bothered with any of that. As soon as you give me a limit, I just go somewhere else. Um, but I think what it is they figured out that the model that a lot of these other types of sites have, where they just have an ads based profit, doesn't work for them. And the number one reason it doesn't work for them is because A, everyone under the age of 40 is not looking up newspapers. And number two, because all of their or most of their demographic is much older, it actually benefits them to still kind of keep that whole pay to play feature that they had when you had to read a hard copy newspaper, because people who are older are more likely to actually buy into that, right? They're used to paying for a paper. They had to pay for a paper their whole lives. They might even see the
Yeah.
price monthly as a steal. So I think that they all went that way for that reason. But they're going to find probably that it's not in their best interest either. Because it's pretty new. I think it's pretty new. I don't think it's going to work out very well, but they can continue to do it, and then I can continue to take whatever subject they just introduced me to, Google that, and then look at one of the other 100 million sites who covered the exact same information for free and without me, signing up for anything. So,
Yeah. I'm with you. So
mm-hmm,
whatever I can get, I can get. And
right?
I'll say this too. I used to be a customer of the Chicago Tribune for many a years, and I mean like 20 years.
Mm,
And I was always able to get a good deal. Like the first 10 years, it was like 50 cents for the Sunday's paper with the coupons and all that.
mm-hmm,
And then it went to 75 cents, and then it went to a dollar.
mm-hmm,
And I once it went to a dollar, it was fine. I did it. But what I used to do, I used to redeem my airline miles.
mm,
And I was able to do that and get my subscription every year. So once I ran, well, did I run out? No, I didn't run out of miles. What ended up happening, they ended that program.
mm,
That's what they end up doing. Because I used to get magazines that way. But they ended the program. They're like, And I
mm,
knew things were getting tight. And I think that happened like 2011, 2012. I'm like, yeah, it's getting tight.
mm-hmm,
So I paid for a newspaper maybe a couple more years after that in 2015 or so. 2016 tops, I said, okay, that's it.
mm,
And it was fine while it lasted, and I just said, forget it. And then what I end up doing is going to the library. And at the library, you can look at the paper for free. But I was getting it for the coupons. But because the manufacturers decided that they weren't going to give those coupons like they used to, it
mm-hmm,
just didn't balance as far as buying it. So that was another, I forgot to add that. That was another reason why I decided to end my subscription. And I ended up going to the library, started getting the coupons. And then once they saw that I was doing that, then all of a sudden the people that worked there started getting interested in it. So I would go there sometime. Well, got to a point where most of the time they didn't have any coupons. So I'm like, forget it. Y'all can have it. And I just said, forget it. And because I used to shop for people,
mm,
I've actually shopped for people like forever, 20 some years. I used to go shopping for people. And once I knew what you like and all that, it wasn't nothing for me to just pick stuff up and then say, here you go, here's your bag, give me my $25. Okay, thank you. But it got to a point where it wasn't profitable anymore because of the coupons. So I just said, forget it. And that was the end of that in 2017. I think that was the last time I really used to do that. So, but yeah, everybody cutting back. Everyone is cut back. Cut back, cut back, cut back. But yeah, that's what ended up happening. I think I'm going to talk about some more of that. Think about it tomorrow, probably. Because I think I have an article to bring up tomorrow about that. I think I do. We'll see.
mm-hmm.
But anyway, what's going on with you and this topic, young lady?
Well, and I thought it would be a good initial tie-in here. Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Uh-huh,
But
uh-huh.
now, If for those of y'all who don't know, Shar does a radio show every Wednesday with Mr. DJ Music in the chat room. And, he likes to come here and listen to the shows. And on occasion, you know, he does some commentary on what it is we have to say. Normally, what it is that I have to say, right? He doesn't really have too much to say about what Shar says, is what I say. But in this particular show, boy, he had a lot to say. If y'all missed it, I am sorry for you. It was a good show. It was a really good show. Um, but now, see, here's the thing, and I knew I wasn't going to remember off the top of my head. I knew I wasn't gonna. I knew I should have written it down. But I did tell him for sure. I said, listen, I promise on Friday's show, I will answer your questions. And since the topic that he was talking about was all about sex and stuff, I wanted to first throw it out there. Please, music, remind me of what it was that I was supposed to be answering so I can answer that. Now, um, the thing I guess, and I think that this would be an interesting one. And I really, really hope that some ladies, I know y'all are busy on your Valentine's Day dates or staying at home, Netflix and chilling, or whatever else y'all got going on for Valentine's Day, or some anti Valentine's Day thing. Now, that's the question I want to ask: is did you know that people celebrate anti Valentine's Day? Like, um, you know, I didn't know that this actually was a thing, or what's it called, Galentines Day.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, um, people literally, and I knew that it was a thing where people, got really down if they didn't have a loved one on Valentine's Day. But it's gotten to the point where people feel so much social pressure and so much social rejection when they
Oh.
don't have a significant other on Valentine's Day that there are massive movements. They even really make e-cards and real life at home cards for or at store cards for Galentines Day. Who knew? And for anti Valentine's Day. Um, and so now, first of all, did you know that this existed? Either of these two things?
I believe I heard of it in 2016.
Oh, man, I am always so behind on the times. like,
Yeah, I think someone I seen it on a video. I think that's how I heard of Galentine Day. Been so long ago. Refresh our memories, please.
okay, so well, Galentine's Day is basically, sorry, but it's a little bit along the lines of the "I don't need no man" rhetoric, right? Because what it's saying is, I don't need no man to celebrate love or whatever. That's why I have my girlfriends, right? And so it's celebrating, girl on girl, not in that way, love. Like your girls fill that hole in your life or in your heart and whatever. And so, you find your best girls, you are all each other's Valentine, and you treat each other to various things. So now it's like, instead of you guys all going out, because I mean people have been doing this before, right? Where they actually do go out with friends or something just to take their minds off of a recent breakup or whatever on Valentine's. But
Mhm.
apparently the whole thing is you can't pay for yourself because it's a date, it's a gift. Someone's
Okay.
treating you. So, if all your girls go out to dinner, you pick one of your girls and you pay for her, right? Just like someone's paying for you. Or, if you guys are all going to go to the movies, you pay for someone else's ticket and give it to them, right? Now, this is obviously all very symbolic because you're all doing the same thing. So it's not like one
Mhm.
of you saving money. But it's literally because people can't just not be treated like they have a significant other. But rather than admit that, or maybe do a little changing things around, or looking at their long list of what I need in a man, what I need, in a life partner, instead of changing that around, maybe examining that. they would rather do this and kind of fake the feeling a little bit. And that's where I had an issue with this one because I was like, I understand going out with some friends. I understand, hey, taking someone out who's feeling a little down and dejected. But this kind of idea where, you're going to fill the hole of feeling special by doing this whole ruse, this whole spectacle. I don't know. I think it's weird. I think it's a little bit weird. I think it's almost like not quite as bad, but almost along the lines of the people who marry themselves. Um, you know,
Oh, well, that
yeah,
is very strange. I mean, why can't it just be, um, if it is a support type thing because you don't have a guy, then hey,
mm-hmm.
girls that are single, let's just hang out. Okay?
Right,
Yeah, let's hang out, girls. Yay! And
mm-hmm.
just go out and either flirt with some guys,
Right,
and there you go. That's what we did about girl and a man. Me, girl, me. Let's go out, girl. Yeah, let's go out and go. Let's see. And just
mm-hmm.
go have a good time, flirt and all that, and there you go. It can be just that simple. Not,
Right.
well, I can't pay for it and all that. What is all that about? Who's gonna know? I mean, who are you
Mm-hmm.
telling, and why is that is so important?
Because then you don't have to lie. You can say, my girlfriend took me out, right? Someone treated you. So now
Ah,
you don't explain the whole thing. You say someone treated you. Someone brought you flowers and treated you to a meal. Now you bought someone else flowers and treated them to a meal too. So really you should have just bought it for yourself. But you don't have to say, you don't have to buy yourself flowers, pay for your own meal, and then pretend someone else gave it to you because someone else legitimately did.
and
Um,
then the next thing is, why is that really so important? Hey, did you get something for Valentine? No, I'm not dating anyone right now.
right.
See how simple that was?
But thank you. Thank you. Um, oh, and for the record, they're not allowed to flirt with anyone when they go out, right?
Oh,
Because you're
you
on a
got to
date.
be kidding me.
Nope, you are on a date. See, that's why I said it's along the rhetoric of the I don't need no man rhetoric, right? Because you're on a date, so you don't flirt. Like,
There's rules to this stupidity. Okay, I got you.
right, there's rules, and that's where I was like, I read some of these people's stories and stuff, and I'm like, I gotta talk about Galentines because at first I actually thought it sounded kind of cool just because it almost sounds like, Jamaican-ish to me, the Valentine Day, so I thought it might be something cute, and then the more I looked into it, the more I was just like, Mm, no, I don't think I want to encourage this
Mm-mm.
um in others at all. It's
Yeah.
just, again, it's creep, like, to me, when you're single, you get together with your girls, you guys decide, I'm not going to feel like an ugly pathetic loser who can't get a man, right? um because you've had a man before, things didn't work out, you happen to be single now, whether it's recent or not, you're waiting to find the next, right guy for you, not just jumping into bed into everybody, so just so you can have a date for Valentine's. So, you're like, all right, I want to feel like I still got it. Right. So you get all dressed up, you get your hair done, you do some makeup, right? And you and your ladies go out on the prowl, as they say, right? You go, and just like the guys who are out on the prowl to sit there and hit on women and whatever, right? You're there to be hit on. You're there to wink at some cute guys. You're there, yeah, you're there to hang out with your girls too and have a good time. And, you don't go and abandon your girls to go home with some random guy. And if you're drunk
Hmm.
enough to think that's a good idea, your girls stop you, right? But it's about the intention. The intention is literally because A, you like male attention, B, you're willing to admit the fact that, yeah, male attention feels good, and you want your ego to be stroked. You don't want to sit there feeling and looking dumpy at home, thinking that now you're too old and you're never going to find love, right? Watching every TV show and every commercial's all about Valentine's Day and engagement rings and wedding bands and whatever, right? You don't want to sit
Mm.
home and do that. So you want to go out and feel like you still got it. And in your little delusional mind, you're still, 18 and you still got it. You're good, right? Like that's what it is. I'm good with that. I think that that is a healthy way of blowing off some steam on Valentine's Day. I think it's cute, right?
And actually they should do that all the time. They didn't have a guy on the 13th. Why wait till the 14th and do that? Go have a
True.
good time all the time.
Mhm.
Get out there. People can't see you in your house while you watching Netflix or whatever you're watching. People don't see. That's that is something. I had a conversation with this lady because I used to go to the water cooler every morning, fill up my jug, which was it was almost a gallon, but wasn't quite a gallon.
Mhm.
I forgot how many ounces it was. And so she see me like that, come over there. At first, the conversation was always, "You drink all that water?" Yes. "Man, you drink all that water, girl? Ooh, I just be in the bathroom." I didn't say nothing. I keep filling it up because it's still, bloop, 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 bloop.
Mhm.
So this went on for a while, and then one day she asked me. Well, no, she said that because I think my cruise was coming up because I will always take a cruise every year. So
Mhm.
everyone knew about that around the office. So she said, as soon as her daughter graduate from high school, she's gonna go, and her daughter will be 18, and she'll leave her. I think somewhere she said she would leave her. I don't know. I don't think she said she would take her. It's like she said she would leave her somewhere on or something. That's okay. So another time,
Mhm.
she's telling me that ain't no guys out here, and I'm wondering, what's she talking about? I see them all the time. And I was in my 30s. She was in her 40s. And I think she was in her late 40s. But anyway, she said it wasn't no men out there. I said, "There's men out there." I said, "You just not around to see them." I said, "Let me guess." I said, "On Monday, you get up and you come to work and you go home, right?" She said, "Yeah." And I did that through all the days until I got to Friday. I said, "Friday, you might run to the store, get something, and go home." I said, "On Saturdays, you go get your hair done, get some groceries, and then you go home, right?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Then you go on Sunday, you get up, you go to church, and then you go back home, right?" "Yeah." "And then on Monday, you get up and you go to work and you go back home." And I did that, and so she saw what I was doing. If that's all you do, you limiting the chances of people seeing you. I said, "Get out and do something." I said, "You got to be interested in something." And one of the first thing I would say was stepping. I said, "You like stepping?" I said, "Go out and step. Go dance. Do something you like, whatever your interest is, that you have." And she says she's going to. I don't really think much of that even happened, but it was still to tell her a place to tell her to start. You got to get out there. There's nothing wrong with flirting. I don't, I don't. Not gonna sit around and wait for something to happen. I'm sorry. Guys, sometimes they can't read you. They too proud to put some glasses on, so they go on in the club or wherever the setting we could be, and they can't really see you.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Look here, I'm over here. What's up?" Or if they approach you, touch them. If
Mhm.
you think you're interested, you pick up enough vibe. They sing, all right, clean, got the teeth and all that. Put your hand on his shoulder
Right.
and get a little close. "What did you say?" "Oh no." And listen
Mhm.
to what the guy say or whatever, and give him your number and talk some more. The worst you
Mhm.
can do, especially nowadays, you can block the number. You don't even have to say, "Please don't call me anymore."
Exactly.
So what do you want?
Hmm.
Gee.
So true. So true. And I mean that I again, I'm so glad that you clarified touch him on his shoulder because I
Hmm.
just wanted to put it out there that, if this wasn't obvious, and I feel like in this day and age it's not, by touch him, it was clearly above the waist, really above the nipples, right? On an arm, a shoulder, trying like not to grab something off the bat, because when you do that, you mark yourself as here for only one thing, and you're not going to like the implications of what the one thing is if you're looking for, an actual man and not a booty call at 3 a.m. So, just saying.
Okay.
Oh man, and see, I think that's the thing. And because I mean, anti Valentine's Day, right? See, anti Valentine's Day, I get that one too. I hate love. I hate everything about Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is just, it's consumeristic. It's not even a real holiday. Blah blah blah. I think that argument's funny because no holiday is a real holiday. Let's be real. They're all made up, invented holidays that, were
Hmm.
just created at some point. Like, what defines a real holiday versus a not real holiday? I don't know. Um, like,
Time off with pay.
hey
But
now,
continue.
yeah, I'm gonna say, man, we got Family Day on Monday coming up. And what is Family Day? I don't consider that a real holiday, but everyone gets time off with pay. So I still will credit it as
That's
being
right.
one. But what is it? I don't know, some stuff they made up, because people don't get to see their families for like 4 months through the darkest, coldest time of winter, because there's such a long stretch. This is the longest stretch between Christmas and Easter, is the longest stretch we go without any type of holiday, and it's in the middle of winter. So they came up with Family Day to break that up, right? So you get a 3 day, free weekend with pay. Love Family Day. I'm telling you, go Canadian government. Anyway, but I understand. You want to hate. Listen, to an extent, I hate Valentine's Day too, because it's not about love anymore at all. They're not even pretending it's about love. It's all about, it's back to, it's another Christmas, right? In fact, it might be more expensive than Christmas because everything they're pushing is thousands of dollars. Because they know that your finances aren't split amongst several people. Well, I mean, it might be, but I mean, on
Hmm.
average, the person you're shopping for is that one person. So, they're trying to sell you very expensive things. For women, they're trying to get them to buy their men really expensive TVs and entertainment systems and stuff like that. And women, obviously, jewelry, number one. Oh, you haven't proposed yet? You should propose now. She'll be disappointed if you don't propose. Here's a $10,000 ring that she would just love. On sale
Hmm.
now for $8.99, 99.99. Oh, really? You're like, God damn. Um, right. So I get that, and I get the idea too. That for some people, right, and I feel this way. It depends on the year, honestly, where it's
Hmm.
like there's so much anticipation that is built up for Valentine's Day, being this special day of the year and whatever, that, honestly, sometimes you could let, you know, daily love slip almost, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I got that one day to make up for it, right? Like, no, not
Yeah.
really. um let's celebrate love every day of the year, but okay. So anti-Valentine's Day, I get it, and you celebrate that with your friends. Oh, who cares about all this love stuff? Which, in that case, I understand. You go with your friends, you shun any type of male or female activity, depending on whatever you're attracted to. And because it's just about friendship, it's about caring about the people in your life, not about trying to get attention from other third parties because of some stupid holiday. I get that. That to me made sense. That to me was like the healthy way of doing that. Um, and I remember I actually celebrated a couple of those. Back when I was younger. I don't know if it was all organized like this back in like the 2000s, the early 2000s, but I remember
Mhm.
we did this a couple times where it's like, oh, we're gonna wear the opposite colors. And I did it when I went to school, because my friends wanted to do it. But like me, I'm a sucker for a holiday, right? I'm in all red right now. Like everything I'm wearing is red because it's Valentine's Day, right? So it's like that's what I do every year. Like I love a holiday. I especially love a holiday that has a color theme because I'm all about that life. But no, and see, this is the thing. I think maybe what we need to do is start bringing some fun back into some of these holidays. I think we've made them too serious. Like, when you're a kid, it's about getting candy and cards from all the people in your class and stuff, and again, dressing in theme. Cupid
Mhm.
and whatever. And now I don't hear those stories at all anymore. I mean, I'm sure if you have kids you do, but as an adult, where's all of the fun stuff? Where's all the cute stuff? Everything is about love, love, love. Is my relationship good enough? Does my husband love me enough? Am I special enough? Do I love my husband enough? Like where's the fun in love? Where is the actual excitement in love? Not in what gift I'm gonna get, and if it proves enough to the Joneses that he loves me, but like just the excitement itself of spending that time together, of
Mhm.
getting to feel those tingly feelings, um, of, being remembered. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that we've lost a little bit of what the meaning of love is altogether. I honestly do.
Yeah, I'll say this and then I'll let you address DJ
Oh, music
Music.
answered? Okay.
Yeah, because he got a couple of things in the chat room.
Okay.
Um, Now, for me, the way I looked at it, okay, it's cool, it's cute when you're younger. You did exchange cards, you made the little construction paper card for all the kids in school, and then you brought one home for your mom where the letters and the little things that you made were falling off because the glue didn't really stick well, but it was all cute and fun. Okay, got you. And you get older, okay, you're a little teen or whatever, you really don't have no money. And even if you do get some money for your parents to buy something for the um, little girl, normally the boy, yeah, for the little girl, the mom or dad doesn't give the daughter any money for the boy. He gets nothing. That's what I've seen. Now, fast forward to your working years and you get a little older, whatever. You normally hang out because you're not married, you're just dating. You hang out, you do some things or whatever. That's supposed to be a little time that, couples get together, spend a little extra time, do a little extra something. But as far as when you're married, for some reason, I've heard many of people um, not really be in the mood for it when the time comes. They've been so much just trying to get along with life in general that when that day comes, it's like, it's just a day.
Mm-hmm.
And if, because I've also heard where women really kind of push it. Well, my husband, he didn't bring me anything, and I know he ain't gonna do this year, and blah 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 blah. But
Mm-hmm.
love each other every day. Spend time with each other every day. It ain't got to be no extra day. We already know it's commercialized. That's all this is. Spend some money. Here's some roses. We can get some money that way. Here, get these cars. There's some money there. Get these chocolates. There's some money there. All this advertisement, just pushing. Here's a jewelry time. Here, no money down, and you still pay 9.99, 99.99, 99. But it's really not that important. It means nothing. You show love, in my opinion, every day to that guy that you love. And same with
Mm-hmm.
the man, just show love to the girl every day. That's
Mm-hmm.
special. You don't
Absolutely.
have to go. You don't have to spend any extra money unless if you buy a particular meal that you cook at home,
Mhm.
that may be a little extra if you get some lobster tails or whatever you're gonna buy, and get to cooking and stuff. Have a nice quiet meal, spend some time together. There you go.
Mhm.
But all this stuff
Mhm.
you spending out in the street, save your money. It's a
Oh yeah.
ploy just to get your money.
Mhm. Oh yeah. And I'll tell you, I've gone to Red Lobster enough times, unfortunately, on Valentine's Day to tell you that the food is significantly subpar on
Yeah.
Valentine's Day versus every other day of the year because they buy it in bulk because they know that it's just going to be a factory all day. And they just get people in and out, and you're going to pay for that food anyway. You don't got time. It's a date. You got to go. Um,
Mhm.
but I'll say, for me, and this is a big one that, anyone who's ever in my life has to learn about me, is that for me, the when it's the thought that counts. uh the thought is has to be more than, oh well, it's Valentine's Day and society says that, because that doesn't work for me. So for example, society says that roses are the flower of love, right? I hate roses. I actually hate them. I really do. So you getting me roses does not make me smile or feel loved. It doesn't matter if that was your intention, because that's about you or about society, right? So if you're going to get me, say, flowers, which I'm not really a big flower person, but if you're going to get me flowers, at least get me a flower that I don't hate. Even better if you figure out what flower I like and get me that. But then if you're going to get me a flower and then get me a flower I like, then you got to make sure you get the one I like. Don't get like some knockoff version of the flower I like. Like, I'd rather you get me nothing. So, for example, the Gerbera daisy. Okay, it's just a type of daisy. Basically, it looks like a daisy with a lot of petals. Um, but they
Mhm.
come with two varieties. They have ones that have a black center and ones that have a yellow center. I don't like the ones that have a yellow center, primarily because I don't like the color yellow at all. So I like red Gerberas with a black center. And it's kind of like a black and white center. Those are my favorite flowers. So if you're going to get me the flower, get me the one that has the black center, or don't get the flower at all. Like, it's not like,
Uh-oh.
yeah, like, it's not like if you don't give me flowers, I'm going to be crushed. I don't need flowers. I'm not a flower girl. So if you're going to do it, get the ones I like. Now, did my husband make that mistake several times before figuring out, like, it really processing? Oh, if the center is yellow and that's all I can find because I only decided to care, on my way home from work on Valentine's Day, well, then I should just not get flowers. It might be better for me to just get her favorite chocolate bar or some ice cream or something. And it would, honestly, because it's my favorite thing. Get me a favorite something. My favorite tub of ice cream, for the record, is world class chocolate from Baskin Robbins. You get me a tub of that, awesome. You get me some Reese's peanut butter cups, awesome. Like, I don't know. To me, it's just like something, or make me something. I'm really good with make me something. Take one of the pictures we've taken over the years, get that blown up, put it in a frame, and that picture means something to you about our relationship. We're going to put that up on our wall. That means something to me. To me, that is a really special gift that costs you under $5, right? The fact that you didn't waste hundreds of dollars buying me something that I honestly don't really care about because I'm not a big gift person also means a lot, because it means that you cared about what else we need to buy and what else we need to pay for, like almost like financial security, or other little perks along the way. You didn't take hundreds of dollars to go buy me some foolishness today because it's Valentine's Day. Like, that's the most relevant holiday on the planet. But that means that something that maybe I needed to do, or I told you I wanted to do in the next couple of months, we can't do now because we blew hundreds of dollars on this gift because it's Valentine's Day. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. It just never has. Um, but okay, so if
Okay.
I'm understanding correctly, the thing that we're going to clarify today, and let me know if there's any other ones, is about what I meant when I said a grower, a guy being a grower. Okay. So the way it sounded to me, music, is that when, and I don't know, ladies, y'all can chime in too, and let me know if you've heard of this before or seen it yourselves. Um, but I didn't mean, it sounded to me like you thought when I said grower, it's like, oh, well, he's 32 years old and right now he's at 4 inches, right? But in the next 5 years or so, he might get an extra 3 or 4 inches, right? Like that's like that's not what I meant. I mean he was gonna grow slowly over the years. That's not what I meant at all. To be clear, okay. Uh, what I meant was this. Okay, so some guys, right? Actually, I'm going to say most guys, when they're kind of ready to go, right? So they're at
Mhm.
full mass, right? They're at their max capacity, give or take a couple millimeters, really, right? So they're
Mhm.
at their maximum ability of thickness and length. That's where they're at. They're ready to go now. They're at their maximum. So maybe they're 1 inch thick and they're 5 inches long, and that's what they're working with. That's all they're going to be working with throughout that night. That's what they're working with, and for the rest of their lives, because they're grown now and it's not growing anymore without some type of surgical intervention. So what I'm talking about are the guys who, when they're ready to go and they're at full mass, it seems like they're at full mass, but they're really only actually at about 85%. So when you think they're starting, okay, you're like, okay, they're at 1 inch thick and they're 5 inches long, and you're like, all right, cool. That's what we're working with. But then closer towards the time that they're about to orgasm, they've grown almost an inch. And you're like, how did that happen? How are you suddenly an inch and a quarter thick and 6 inches long? Like, how did that happen? Right? That's what I'm talking about. It's this, it seems like it's magical, but it's not really. It's just the fact that right before they orgasm, they become at 100%. And the whole rest of the time they're at about 85% full. So it's not really like a special magical thing or a growth thing that will happen over time. It just really has to do with the blood flow and max capacity. And
Yeah.
it can happen with people who are circumcised or not. Like that doesn't really
Right.
have a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it can, and a way of really, just to verify that is if you change positions and you look at it, you're like, wait a minute.
Right.
He didn't begin that way.
Right.
So yeah, it does. It can feel and do look larger than it began. So yes.
Exactly. And it's like, and there are objective measures you can actually take without, like, whipping out the tape measure. So for example, in anything that you're doing with your hands, you can kind of measure with your hands, right? Like, where does it come up
Right.
to on my hands? If I put my hands at the base, right? How far up
Right.
can I go? How much is left? Whatever. So, and like, goes from someone who's maybe an inch above the top of one hand to someone who is about an inch above the top of two hands, right? Like, I mean,
Hmm.
I've literally seen all kinds of growing. This has happened to me more than once, and it's objective growth. Like, you can see that over the course of time, this has happened. Um, Now, I'm just going to say this because you're never going to have the experience yourself, but um, I have seen it ever before in a couple porns where when they start off, the guy starts off like, yeah, he's, porn sized, but
Hmm.
it actually seems to get bigger, like as though they're starting to use like some dummy one, it's like when they zoom in, oh, it must be just like a different person, but it's not. It's just he's
Mm.
actually closer to go time. That's all. So the video's about to end. Uh, but yeah, so I hope that clarified that question because I do know that some people come up with wild and crazy lies um, to tell themselves so they sleep better at night about what might happen. No, I'm still a growing boy. What do you mean? Like, no, you're not, right? Like, that's not going to happen. I mean, uh,
Right. Not that way anyway.
right, exactly, right? Like, if you are morbidly obese, and then you lose a lot of weight, it's going to look bigger. First of all, just because of the whole comparative view, right? Now your thighs are a lot smaller. Your belly isn't hanging over it, a whole bunch of factors like that. So it
Right.
appears a lot larger. And also because, if you
You
did
can
it
get
the
to more
healthy,
of it.
well, yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's way more accessible. Um, but also because you're working out and stuff too, right? Your blood flow will be better. So you're more likely to be able to get to 100% full versus, maybe when you were at 300 pounds, you could only get to 80% because, your
Hmm.
blood flow wasn't that good because, you weren't that healthy. So, yeah. But, come on, we're not that, I'm not that uneducated over here. Oh, see, he's like, the grower. Yes, it does. You see, we know some stuff.
Yay.
Hey, yes, I love it, Shar. I love it. You know, can you follow me around with that box? So just everywhere I go, like, I really kind of need that. Like, whenever I say something right, I do something good. Like, hey, look, guys, I seasoned meat and put it in the oven. I need wild applause to go off. Like, that's like just, yes, yes, I love this.
Uh-uh.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's good. That's good. But you know, I thought this was hilarious. And I thought it was true too, right? But the whole the thing that music said, I think it was towards the end where he said, the if all you're ever doing is face down, ass up, then you're not in a relationship with that. Oh man, music. Sometimes you drop some like classic gems. It was so great.
It's funny now to think about it.
Right? That's all you do. You're not in a relationship with that dude. Just so you're clear.
But I know what he
Oh,
means though, but it's funny.
yeah, right. It's like it's true. I'm not saying he wasn't telling the truth. It's just funny as heck the way you phrased that one. That was
Right.
what more is there to say? Um, but I want to bring up the topic, and when next
Hmm.
time, like we gotta have a male guest for sex relationship kind of talk,
Yeah.
so we can ask the question of positions for them, right? I
Okay.
really want to know this because, first of all, I want to know another man's perspective as well, and guys in the chat can answer this. Although I know y'all won't, because you're a little bit timid in there. It's okay. Be brave. Um, but
Valentine Day.
that's what I'm saying, right? Everyone's drinking wine right now anyway. You'll be fine. Okay. So the first thing I want to know is, who drives the change in positions when y'all are, in the room, whether it's with, casual
Hmm.
hookups or a girlfriend. I want to know because I asked some people this week, okay? I actually
Uh-huh.
asked people, and there is not one person, male or female, who told me that women drive that change in positions unless there's a pain issue, right? Or a discomfort issue. Like we tried this and it hit something painful or uncomfortable, so we got to shift because it's not working. Um, but with the exception of that, both men and women that I spoke to said in their very long experience, because I wasn't speaking to like kids here, I'm talking to 35 to 45-year olds. It was always the man who says, "All right, turn over," or "All right, oh, can you get on top, babe?" You know what I mean? Is the one
Uh-huh.
who's orchestrating these changes in positions, and she's game. right? Like she's not gonna be like, oh well, I guess if just because you say so, like, all right, cool, we could try that. I'm down to try that one. You know what I mean? But like normally, and again, and I actually had this experience as well. I was talking to a couple girlfriends, and they said that like they'll suggest the position if something he's come up with is clearly not working, like you can't get into the motion or the right, stride where it's comfortable for everyone, and then she'll be like, hey, can we try the this thing that we've done that we both really like, just to like be helpful, let's move it along, we can get back into my rhythm, I'm down at zero now waiting for you to figure this out, right?
Hmm.
But for the most part, yeah, women don't do this, and that's been my experience. So I don't know, I would like to
Hmm.
know, if if another guy says, yeah, that's my experience too, let me know. Our girlfriends, these are casual hookups? Is it like, do you see a difference between the women who are the drivers for changing the positions and who don't? Because like I don't know, I can't find one who is. I honestly can't.
That's a good question. I don't know. This is my guess. Those that are regular partners, they may allow the guy to be in charge of that. And
Mm-hmm.
then those are that are casual hookups. I think the woman may be more aggressive because she's performing for some reason, whether
Mm.
it's for money, a second call, or set up something. That's what I'm guessing, but I don't know, and that'll be interesting um, to have that conversation. I think I don't know if my next guest will be willing to speak about that, but I will look into that. Yes, I will.
Yeah, right? I mean, hey, listen, sex is relevant year round, right? Let's be real. We're adults in the 21st century. We can talk about sex anytime. Doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. So, um,
True.
this will still be relevant even if it takes us 6 months to find a guest who is game to go
Hmm.
in and dive deep on some of these things and be honest. And you know, if not, we all know for sure when you have Rom Wills back, he will totally be willing to answer this question.
True.
Totally. And honestly, what I love about Rom though too is he'll go and he looks up the research and stuff, right? Like people don't realize. I've been saying for the last year on panels, for example, about the average guy has only slept with 7 women. And I've been called all kinds of liar. And I'm like, I got it from Ron Wills though. I remember when he posted that survey, and you can literally go, it's being updated like daily, right? Like it's still being updated to this day. And like a lot of men have answered this. It's broken down by age category and stuff. And so you see different age categories, numbers are like, higher and some are a lot lower and stuff. But yeah, that average magical number of 7 women, and you would 7 women that they've slept with, and you would think that the number would be higher given the way kind of men talk about casual sex and needing sex, and you know kind of rejecting monogamy being put on them by women, stuff like that. And then you look at the women's numbers and they're so much higher, and they're like, oh,
Hmm.
I think it was like 20 or something was the average for women. I remember it was a lot higher, and I was like, hmm, that is interesting. So it's like either a lot of men are lying on the survey, or they're lying would, they're
Yeah.
online in these conversations. I don't know. I ain't gonna call nobody a liar, but I'm just saying this doesn't quite balance out. Doesn't, that, yep.
Hmm.
Again, I'm not calling nobody a liar though. I'm just saying facts is facts.
All right.
but when it comes to the whole positions, right? And see, I think this one was an interesting one. Now, is it true? Like, I mean, you think about a guy who really just likes, like, doggy style, right?
Uh-huh.
And I've met guys who just really like doggy style. That's their thing. Or they've kind of maybe even like psychologically gotten attached to doggy style, so they really can only orgasm if if they're in doggy style. So they might try other things, but ultimately they go back to that to be able to orgasm. My thing is like,
Uh-huh.
as much as it's funny and we can all see why it would be true, I really wonder if there's something to that. Like, even because I hear guys say this, with their long-term girlfriends and wives that they love, that doggy style is their go-to. So does that mean that I'm just wondering, maybe they have emotional attachment issues to the woman? Like, do we think there's exceptions to this rule? Where it's not always the case that just because you don't want to see your face that like you might still love her. No, like, really, because it makes you start thinking, makes you start analyzing stuff. Like, well, oh, what does it mean because my man likes this, right? What does it mean because
Uh-huh.
my husband likes that? It starts making you wonder these things. On a scale of 1 to 10, okay, how much does he prefer doing missionary and looking at my face and knowing it's me? How much does he prefer, when I'm turned away in some way? Is he imagining
Uh-huh.
someone else? And see, women already start thinking like that. Is he
In their
imagining someone
head.
else? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Makes you paranoid. You do not want more women to get paranoid, right? Because my God, the kind of hell you are creating. Well, sorry. Well, technically, I'm creating that hell for a bunch of men tonight on Valentine's Day when he's just feeling frisky, and she's like, "I watched the NeoSector, and they said you don't love me because you want me to be in this position tonight." Wait, what? God damn it! Hate those women.
It was that Mr. DJ Music. It was him.
He confirmed that it wasn't just women saying it. So now what? Right? Like, mm, I'm gonna refer them over to GSRN.
Okay. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see what kind of responses we get from males. You know, it is
Mm-hmm.
a little personal, but you can talk about it without being too explicit. So you
Exactly.
should be able to get some answers.
Yeah, I think we need to be able to. I think we need to be able to have some of these discussions in a for real adult mature kind of way, because we don't, and then when we don't, people are going and getting most of their information from basically, like, locker room talk, or the showing
Yeah.
out kind of talk, and that's not really honest. That's not, really getting to the heart of things. And we need to, because I'm telling you, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't know. uh, you know, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea up until recently, or I thought were myths. Like, I thought it was an outright myth, um, that women had vaginal orgasms. Myth. Didn't think it really happened. I thought women just tell men that, and put on the show and the whole nine, because honestly, they're not really sure exactly what an orgasm it is, or if they are, it's very hard for them to get to one. So it's easier for them to put on this show, make their man feel like a man, and then, go about their lives. That's what I really thought, right? Apparently it's true. And these things really happen. Okay. Hey, I learned something in my 30s.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a large number
mm-hmm,
the that women don't have penetration orgasms. It's really true and a large number. And there's a lot of factors. Well, it may not be a whole lot, but there are a couple of factors. And one is, they're just not doing it right. Luda. And
mm-hmm,
you have to also work with your partner. Besides
right,
the obvious of we're in our heads, just look right. How do I look and all that? But there is the other part where you have to learn your body and you have to try something different. You
mm-hmm,
got to find, well, where's that spot? What is it?
mm-hmm.
Because that used to be a myth. I remember that in magazines. I remember seeing magazines. What is the G spot? Is it really real? And all that
Yes.
stuff. I remember that for years. There used to be titles of different, it'd be some type of article in a magazine. It might even been on some of these talk shows. I might have came home and my mom was watching it or something. But I do remember that being considered a myth as well.
Yep. Yep.
So it's not anything someone made up. It just women didn't talk about it. They just weren't satisfied and they went on and that was that.
Mhm.
Um Now there's this show and I didn't watch it all because one thing about a show, once it started getting really crazy, I have to stop watching it because it makes me angry.
Mm.
And that was the show was what is the guy that with the sex? Masters and Johnson? Yeah, Masters and
Mm.
Johnson. And the first season, I watched it and I laughed and I giggled because the woman, she was so in tune with her body and she knew how to satisfy herself and her partner. And men used to just love her because she was with one guy and then she broke up with him. And then she ended up with another guy and she just really couldn't get rid of them. They just
Mm.
loved her. And
Dang.
so the way I think it was an HBO movie, a special. I think that's what it was, and a season anyway. And so on the season or series, they had the introduction of her character and all that, and what she did and stuff. But she was actually admired because she was really, in tune with herself. And
Mhm.
what tickled me about it is the fact how she worked that. It's like, she wasn't afraid to tell the guy, no, let's
Mhm.
turn this way, or no, do this to me, or let's
Right.
do that. And
Mhm.
it was really incredible. So
Hmm.
after the first season, I was okay, but the second season, it started getting kind of weird near close to the end.
Mm.
And I'm like, I can't watch this anymore, and I can't even remember what it was exactly. Um,
Right.
but I
Hmm.
will mention this. Do you plan on watching it, or will it be a spoiler to you if I mention something specific?
No, no, you can tell me.
Okay. Well, let me see. Masters. Who was Master? Was it the lady or the man? I don't forgot now. Whichever one was the woman. She ended up being part of the experiment with the doctor,
Mhm.
and but he got attached to her with sex, and he
Mm.
was jealous because she had her own relationship. She was just doing stuff for experiment to figure out, what was what. And shoot, he ain't like that. He wanted her to himself, even though he was married.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. And then the wife, she ended up getting a guy. Who was this guy? It was a black guy. And back in that time, hey, they didn't do nothing but cut your grass. And
Mm.
I think she invited him in for a cup of water, and Mandigo took over. And she liked
Mm.
that because it was much better than what her husband was giving her. Oh yeah, she enjoyed that. And I don't know if they killed him or something. I think they
Oh,
ended up killing him or
probably.
something.
Mhm.
But yeah, it started getting crazy that second season. I don't even think I watched it all, but
Mm.
I had to stop watching it. I can't remember what it was.
Right.
But back to the main thing was she was in tune, and it was funny to see that displayed on um in a show, and
Right.
especially when it's black and white. We're talking about, was that the 60s or 50s? I think it was the had to be the 60s, I would say.
Oh. Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was yeah, I think it was formed in the 60s. Yeah, I think that's what
Wow.
it was. But it was really funny, and I used to like her character. Like, man, she just took over that.
Mhm.
Man, she know what she wanted.
Mhm.
Wow, she just, man, she's bold. Man, she
See,
aggressive.
man, she's bold. See these words, and it's so funny because I'm like, that's exactly, even to this day, strangely, with the whole entire casual sex movement going on, um, we still think that way. We do as women, right? Oh my God, she's so bold. She's so brave, like she's so forward. Like we think that it's okay for you to go out there and be casual sex. That's not bold, right? But you're going to tell a man what you want, like just constantly be telling him, no, not there, touch there, move here, do this. And you hear still like women, or I've seen women literally blush, black women blush over the idea of telling the man what to do to help her orgasm. But the actual idea of having sex with the man is not the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Just telling him what to do. And it's like, this goes back to something I said a long time ago. I've said to a lot of kids, um, you know, if you are too embarrassed to discuss condoms with your boyfriend, you aren't ready to have sex with him. You know,
Yeah.
and I think the same thing should go. Like, if you are too embarrassed to direct your boyfriend on how to touch your body, when you guys are just making out up to third base, you are not ready to have sex with him. Same reason. You should be able to say stuff that, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's not good. You know what I mean? Oh, I like that. No, I don't like that. Can you do this even?
Right.
And
You have to communicate. Hmm.
mm-hmm. It's so important. And a lot of people, and this is something I've always found funny, right? So I've spoken to guys before who say basically, they never need any directions. They've got their signature moves that work on every woman. And I was like, oh, you're not half as good as you think you are. And so it's one of two things. It's either you're just incredibly well hung, so you incidentally rub on the G spot, hit I think it's called, I can't remember what the second, it's like a G spot, but it's closer to your cervix.
Hmm.
So you're big and long enough that you hit that second G spot. You're always rubbing on the actual G spot no matter what, and you might even be pressing on the G spot that women have outside of their anuses, right? Internally. So,
Hmm.
and that's probably why people actually think you're good. It's not because of the things that you think you're doing, because there's no way that the same thing would work on every woman. It's kind of like one of those things. It's a confusion thing where it's like, no, you could have been amazing with your last girlfriend, and you get a new one who thinks you're trash, right? Because all the stuff that you tried with the old girl didn't work on her. Well, it's not because you're trash. How good you are, how bad you are, is determined by how much you communicate, how effectively you take direction, and how much you're not letting your ego or pride get in the way of all of that.
Right. And that's another thing. I used the word, bold and all of that, but you have to communicate with him because he doesn't know. And
Mm-hmm.
I understand you want to, kind of be cool with his ego or whatever, but he's all right at that point with the instructions
Right.
or, oh, I like that. You communicate, you let him, oh, I like that. I like how you did that or whatever. You can tell him
Mm-hmm.
during and after just to
Yeah.
reassure him and he'll appreciate that. And see,
Exactly.
we think that the men know what we want, um, and just by thinking it. You have to You have to open up your mouth and communicate. And I hate the bad part is a lot of women they will say the guy can't do anything, but they didn't encourage him to do better. They didn't say anything. All they
Mm-hmm.
did was just say, "Oh, he wasn't good," and went on to the next guy. I'm like, but he didn't. You didn't talk to him. You didn't tell him. Did you tell him you didn't like it that way? It hurt, or
Right.
whatever it was. No. I see if you got an inch going on. Hey, it's some problems there. But
Right.
if you got something you can feel, work with the man. Tell him
Mm-hmm.
something. Don't you can't expect some man to just perform all these miraculous feats for you and all of that. And you see stars and the moon and all that kind of stuff. No, you might
Mm-hmm.
can, but you have to communicate with the guy. Let him know.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, there are some women who are just like men and who honestly think that he should know what he's doing, as though somehow all women are the same. It's like, did you not get the memo that not all women are the same? You're a woman. So that's the first thing. The second thing is it's that idea, and I don't know when women are going to get it, that men cannot read minds. And no, they're really, really terrible at reading women's emotions. They have done studies on this. Men are terrible at reading women's facial expressions for emotion, very bad at it. They do not recognize facial expression emotion in women. Like, there's a whole bunch of them that they tested, and men are really bad at it. So, you might think, well, I'm making all the right faces. Isn't this giving him the cue? No, it's not. It's not. It's not at all. Like, you have to say words. Just like, yeah, like very directed words, and he'll be fine. And if he's the kind of guy who gets in his feelings and storms off or whatever, you
Hi, lady.
Welcome.
hey,
Hey,
welcome. Nice to
that's my
see you
twin
again, girl.
flame. NeoSector. What should I call you?
I'm Shar Willie, or
Neo.
you just call me Shar.
Hi,
Mhm.
Shar.
Hey.
Hi, for letting me up on your panel. I have a very strong intuition, and it's something this little voice told me that somewhere in the YouTube galaxy, women were talking about sex.
See? That's right, girl. Twin flame, twin flame. You knew what was
One of my
happening
favorite
today.
subjects, so had to join you. How have you been, Ruby? I
Oh
mean, how
man, long
the
time, long time.
panel?
Hmm?
How have you?
I've been, alive, but good, good. It's Valentine's Day, so my night will still be going as soon as the stream ends. Um, I almost bowed out tonight because I was like, listen, I know what I want to be doing Valentine's Day night, and it's not necessarily talking, if you know what I mean. But I'm here.
Cough,
I'm having a
cough,
good
cough,
right.
cough, 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 cough.
I know, but I'm having a good time, talking, and we've put the conversation exactly where my mind is, in the gutter, so it's great. I'm having a good time.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I was listening to some of what you ladies were talking about, and I
Hmm.
think that women. Okay, so I've read studies that said that the majority of women, it's something like in the 80s percentile of women are, and I don't know, maybe you've covered this. Um, they report that they are not satisfied sexually.
Uh-huh.
I
And
wouldn't doubt it. I think
yeah,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to step away for a second. They
Okay.
report they're not sexually satisfied with their partner. And I think that a big part of that, maybe not all of it, because I do have a question to ask you ladies about the sexual satisfaction, right? But
Hmm.
a big part of that is to what you ladies are saying is that women seem to have a hard time speaking up to their partner and telling them verbally what they want and what they don't want. And sometimes if you have a sexual encounter or you have intimacy with your partner and you are not satisfied, and maybe it's not even a one-off, this is something that maybe keeps happening. Women don't want to tell the man, you know what, that was trash. And sometimes you have to tell them just like that was trash.
Yes,
Men are very direct. And you
yes.
don't need to go around the bend and up and down the corner and around the hill and hide under the cave and then peek out and then say something. You tell them direct that that's not going to work for me. This is what
Hmm.
I need you to do. Break it down chapter and verse.
Hmm.
Oh, chapter and verse. All right.
Yeah.
Because sex is for women too. And let's just face it, as women, we're a lot more peaceful, a lot more calm, a lot calmer, and a lot less frustrated in our daily life when we're getting it in really good. Am I
True.
lying? Did I tell
That
any
is
lies?
true.
It's so true.
No, you're telling the truth.
Yep. And you know
We
what? And
gotta help them help us.
oh god, yeah. You know what the worst part is though, is most women find their voices. See, here's the sad trick of nature, right? So by the time women find their voices, it's normally around the time that their fertility starts going down. So around 35, right?
Yep.
And this is also when they are starting to climb to reach their sexual peak. Men
Hmm.
peak so much earlier. By the time they're at the same age, 35, they're already starting to go way down. So I think that adds to this whole lack of sexual satisfaction in women because the majority of women are going to be over 30, and they're going to be in relationships or married, whatever, to people who are about their age or normally older, And so they're in their sexual stride now. Now they're ready. Not only are they ready to orgasm every time, maybe 5 times a night now, whereas in before they could barely even reach one, they're ready to tell you what to do in no uncertain terms. And yet their man is always tired now. Now he doesn't have the interest. Now he's got a headache, right? And people don't people don't know this fact about men, but it's actually true that there's actually a sad percentage of marriages that are considered sexless, and that's not. I think it's over 70% of them are because of the man, not because of the woman. So that goes to show you that there's a sharp change that happens. Men are so used to, yeah, teens and 20s and, maybe even, 30s. Well, yeah, men are always the ones who want sex and women are always the ones who turn it down, right? And so you got to always try to get in there. But then it flip-flops and it swaps and then it stays that way for life. So without, testosterone injections or something, he doesn't really have the interest to sit there and try to put in all that extra effort sexually for you, honestly. And then now you got a big problem. Because what are you going to do? Tell your man he's not enough man anymore. He's lacking testosterone. He needs to go find some. Like, you don't want to hurt his male ego confidence, right? Like, if you shatter the male ego, you cannot rebuild it. Like, you can't. Like, once he thinks that you don't look at him like a man, he will never think that you do again. So you do got to kind of tread carefully, I think.
Yeah, I have a friend that she didn't care. She did not care. I'm like, wow. Some of the stories she would tell me, I just had my mouth wide open. I just couldn't believe it. She's
Like
like,
what?
no.
Sorry.
She was just as bold as what you were saying, verbal. She's like, I don't know what that was,
Right.
but it's not going to happen again, or at least it won't be happening with me. And I look at him like, you told him that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't blame her. I'm sorry, not sorry, but I don't blame her. I mean, listen, look, here's the thing. Like, and especially, like to what Ruby was saying, when you get a certain age and you got more, you have less years ahead of you than you have behind you, you don't have time. You have certain joys in your life, and good sex is one of them. And you don't have time to waste with someone who doesn't have the energy. I mean, listen, there are things that men can do. There are things that men can do. And I think it's very important that a man has on his mind pleasing the woman, because it's so much easier for a man to reach orgasm than it is for a woman. Um, he needs to be very sensitive to her pleasure. I think that's very important to have a man who understands that. If a
Yeah.
man's first, if his goal in intimacy, and I say this from experience and having a man actually tell my husband actually tell me this, when we were dating, because I couldn't believe how fantastic he was. Like, he was amazing. I was like, what is going on? Where did you learn this? Is there a class? Like, what is this? And he told me
Hmm.
that his pleasure is pleasing women. That's his pleasure. That's his sexual pleasure. So that was his goal. And because that was his goal, and we know that men are goal oriented,
Hmm.
then he succeeded in that. You know what I mean? Am I making sense of what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense. My ex-boyfriend I had to get rid of, but anyway, he was that way. I mean, if you were not enjoying it, it wasn't going nowhere. He was able to read me, and if something wasn't right, he's like, we're gonna stop right here. He was not playing. I give that to him. I had to break up with him. Oh well, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
yeah,
I
it's a
think I've
nice
always
experience.
been attracted to like that kind of guy, actually. And maybe that is the Leo in me. But I've always been attracted to that kind of guy because the thing is that if you're the kind of guy who's just about you, and it's just about you getting off and just about you getting your kicks and whatever, then I almost feel like I'm just an accessory. You know what I mean? Because I am the kind of person who's really about, getting him off, right? I actually get an insane amount of pleasure myself from being the person who can, satisfy him. So, if we're both thinking about him, then no one's thinking about me. And to me, that balance doesn't work well. So I kind of have always needed that from men. But, I don't know. I guess maybe it's a lot harder to find in this day and age because, well, at least here, this whole casual sex thing and how rampant it is, it wasn't like this when I was younger and out in the dating field. Where you could just get casual sex from just about everybody and everyone's trying to take your man and everyone's trying to whatever. It's like this whole entire culture now. So I think it's a little bit different because there's that kind of competition around and whatever, it gives men the idea that, only they are the prize and women really are there just to satisfy them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty unfortunate. So here's my question. I want to know what you ladies think about this. So Ruby, you were talking about, and then I also was, reiterating it, and I'm sure Shar also, about speaking up, right, and saying, letting them know what you like and what's not working for you, right? So let's say you do all of that and there's still no change. Then what do you do?
I'm gonna pretend that's a letter that I just received.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, let's see. How would I answer
I
that to
mean,
a young lady?
mm-hmm.
Now, is it well, I'm pretending it's a letter.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
he hasn't tried anything, then you try to do something different and do all you can. If it's a deal breaker, then it's just going to have to be a deal breaker for you. But at least make sure you verbalize it, try to guide him into what it is you want, and even try to initiate what you want. Start it off. If you can't get anywhere from that and he doesn't want to, he's not interested, then hey, to me that would be a deal breaker, but that's just to me. So depends on how important it is to the person. I would think it's important if she wrote me the letter.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right?
yeah,
Right.
She wrote the letter.
right. She wrote that letter. I think it's important to her. But I can't say that I've experienced anyone telling me that. Um just a friend that, would tell me some stuff. She just said she told a guy she don't know what that was and you got to do better or will be no, it won't be with her. But that is about as much as I heard. Um,
Mm.
Now is that out there? Have you had
Well, there's
anyone?
well, no, it's just about there are men who are extremely quick on the draw. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now that's
Yeah,
another story though. He can't
60
help it.
seconds or
Well,
that
yeah.
has to be helped. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Here's
yeah,
the
I
thing
was
though.
about to rephrase that, but go ahead.
Okay, there's a couple things because I already have a solution for this now. Um, my thing is always this, and it's gonna sound a little bit insulting, but hear me out, y'all, for a minute, men, gentlemen. I apologize, but it's true. Um, when you think about disciplining a child, for example, right? You can't discipline a child next week for something that they did today, right? It's not close enough to the bad behavior for them to associate two and two together, right? They're very young. So when they're very young, you can't take away a birthday party in 3 weeks for something they did today, right? They're not going to associate those two things together. So it's going to seem and feel unfair. You have to punish them immediately right after they did the bad thing in order for them to put two and two together. And so, see, now you don't have to do this in a bad, punishing like a child kind of way, right? But I would just simply be immediately showing there are consequences for your actions. And a lot of times, guys who are doing this are also rushing through foreplay, right? So, and you're allowing them to rush through foreplay to get to the main event. And see, now I would start there. I would be talking about that too. No more rushing through foreplay. So when they try to, I'd be like, all right, hands off. Put my clothes back on. He's gonna be like, what happened? I already told you. If we, I'm not doing the rushing through foreplay thing anymore, right? I need more time to warm up and to enjoy myself and whatever. I want to be able to, have an orgasm before, because I told you all of this. You thought we were just gonna bypass what I said. I'm saying that I'm not moving forward unless that's what we're getting. That would be it. Like boxers, for example, it would be a rule: boxers don't come off until I say, all right, I'm warm, I'm good to go. Right. And I'll be fair with it, but still, that's what it would be. And anytime you try to, that's it, my clothes would come back on. Because see, you gotta actually draw a line. If there's no actual consequences for his actions, then he thinks it's negotiable. Why wouldn't you think it's negotiable? You're saying, oh, it's a suggestion, but I guess I'll still go anyway. Now, if this is a case of, okay, well, you know what? Let's say he's someone who just has a hard time with longevity. There are things he can do to fix that. Really is, because some guys trying to think about baseball ain't enough. So there are actually ways that you can work up and extend yourself. But I would still phrase it like this: listen, if you didn't get your time to come as well, right, and you would like that opportunity, well, then that's got to be after his orgasm, right? And he's got to be willing to do that. If he's not going to, after he has his orgasm, now he's going to roll over and be like, I'm tired. Next time, okay, cool. Next time I would just do the same thing, right? It would foreplay. I would have my orgasm, and then he'd be ready to go, and I'd be like, oh no, I'm tired. Next time. Oh, you don't like that? Okay. Because see, sometimes people have to see the consequences of their actions, and sometimes things need to be modeled for people, right? You just getting angry about it, or just being sad about it, isn't showing him, first of all, what it feels like. And trust me, the first time you show him what that feels like, that's gonna be like, oh. But also what it's doing is it's not allowing them to see that there can really be a consequence. And so if you don't like this consequence, if you don't want me to put on my clothes and go home, or put on my clothes and go downstairs and cook dinner or whatever it is, and you want me to be about that life, you want me to be, in the game with you here, then you've got to play it fairly too and be taking care of me. That's the way I see it.
I like it.
Well, I put
I
in
like
there, instead of potty trained, I say he's kitty trained.
Yep.
Mhm. Right.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was so detailed. I've done it before, right? Like, obviously.
Yeah, I imagined it. I saw you, putting your shirt on and walking out the door. I saw it
Yeah.
because
Deuces.
my imagination is pretty good. So, yeah. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
sounds good. Sounds good. I'm gonna have to share this with my friend. My friend.
My friend. I'm asking for a friend of mine. I saw the quotations in the air. Don't worry about it. We're good.
Mm.
And you know what I've noticed too is this.
Oh, she dropped off.
I don't hear anything, and oh, there she is.
I don't
I
know
think.
why. I keep touching something. I think what it is that if because I'm on my phone and I'm not normally on my phone during the stream, and I
Oh,
think if you pull your finger down on the screen, I think it refreshes, because it's the second time now. I think the first time I hit the home button at the top, and so it went to the home screen, and then this time it just started stream. I don't know. I gotta stop touching stuff. My bad. I apologize.
no
Yeah,
problem.
that happened earlier when I dropped off.
Oh, see,
That's
good. It's not just me. um, I don't remember what I was gonna say now. You see what I did to myself?
Yeah, only thing you got out was you were getting ready to say something.
Yes, I know, and
Um,
because I saw it refresh right away, I didn't even continue, so I could like hold it in my mind. Um,
might have been the quick draw McGraw. I know um,
yeah, it was for sure
sometime
related.
I know some guys are not able to hold it. They have a hard time, and they
Hmm.
would have to practice.
Right. Yep.
Sometimes they
So
could.
how do they practice? How do they practice that?
Well,
Um.
I've heard that they can practice by themselves, but they also
Hmm.
can
Uh-huh.
practice with you. Get so close and just stop, and
Hmm.
you all just
Hmm.
work that out as much as you can. But there are some guys that once they get to going, they just they just can't help themselves like a little, puppy. Like oops.
Well, one way too, right, is you take the control out of their hands, right? So this would be a case where woman on top would be a helpful, good suggestion to try as well, because you can then slow it down. You can slow down the rhythm. You can stop moving. You can remind him to think of baseball or basketball or whatever, his mama, even, I don't know, right? You can remind him to do all these things and slow down and stop and whatever, and just to prolong it. So, which will be very helpful for him if he's used to getting blindly caught up into the emotion, the feeling of it, and he can't get out of that. Um, but yeah, I mean, there are literally sex therapists out there that this is all they deal with. This is all they talk about, and this is all they do is help people through these types of things. Because I mean, it's one thing to have the power to be able to, do a quickie and get that done. It's another thing if that's all you can do. Like you literally could not do longer than a few minutes. And I actually met someone, and I was dating someone, and I was committed to someone until, oh my God, Shar, month nine. Month nine with him is when I found out that he actually had literally been to jail like for years, had just come out. He was older than he had said he was, and he was in there
Oh,
for rape. I
oh
was like,
wow.
Oh
yeah,
no.
uh, terrifying. And because I had had a bad experience with him, and I just remember people saying things to me about him, and I just, kind of brushed it off because he's so gorgeous and he was so nice and whatever. And then I had an experience where he tried to sort of make me do something I didn't want to do. At the time, and I remember like pushing him out of the way, and I took off running. Right, my survival instinct is real strong. Like I'm gone. I'm not staying to talk about it here. Like I'll do that from a safe distance away. Um, and then at that point I actually looked it up, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, I was dating a rapist. Like I was so horrified with myself. But anyway, he um he actually would orgasm very, very, very quickly. I don't mean like after 5 minutes. I mean like 30 seconds, and he would be ready to
Uh
go again and again and again and again for like hours.
oh.
He could do this in 30-second increments. So it's like 30 seconds, give him like 5 minutes, he's ready to go again. 30 seconds, done. Give him 10 minutes, he's ready to go again. Like that for hours. And it was
Wow.
like, you never get to warm up or build up to anything because it's just,
Or you're just warming up and it's done. That's just really the most frustrating thing.
you didn't even get to warm up. 30 seconds? 30 seconds is not a long time.
Mm.
And his head game
Yeah.
was weak.
And
And
this,
and his head game was weak, and this is what I was younger, I was a teenager, so I was not at the place yet where I knew how to verbalize my needs or my wants in any significant way. Really, I was more concerned about his ego. I was scared that by telling him that I didn't like what he was doing or to do something else, um that I would shatter him. And so I would just more like just sit there and wait for people to figure it out, and either they figured it out or they didn't, right? Try to give
Yeah.
you a real loud moan when you're doing something right, and be real quiet when you're not, and hopefully you pick up on that. You like the sound of the moan, so you'll keep going back to the thing that makes me moan. I was trying to do
Mhm.
it that way, like signals. I don't know. But yeah, no, his head game was so weak. And so it was just like,
Had to give him the tap.
but yeah, that kind of guy, and that's the only time I ever
Tap.
experienced that before, was someone who legit, like, he, first of all, like, he didn't seem to see that there was anything wrong with it, but that guy, like,
Mhm.
it's the only time I've ever seen someone orgasm that quickly as a guy. Like, there was no pre anything, like touching or whatever, in 30 seconds, and I'm like, it was honestly for sure under a minute, like significantly under a minute, maybe a few pumps. Like,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I, I don't know. Yeah, and not well hung at all either. Which, like,
Speechless.
there was no benefit to sleeping with this man at all. But I was so in
Mhm.
love with him, and he had this gorgeous, gorgeous face, right? Well, I wasn't like so in love with him. It was more like he was very pretty to look at. So, um, but yeah, no. So I think that's the thing. I don't know what they would do exactly for someone who's that quick, because I mean that's like three pumps and you're done. That's
Oh,
What do you do
I
with
got you
that?
beat. One
Oh,
pump.
oh, you're
Okay.
lying. No way.
I would
I was
say,
One.
I
for
was
me, I
there.
would six. I would say, gosh, I would say maybe 10 pumps, maybe 10 pumps, maybe 12. But one,
Mhm.
you're kidding.
One.
How do you do
That
one?
has got to be the Guinness World Book of Records.
Probably
One,
so.
Lord, Shar, come on now, stop trolling.
Oh no. Really?
It was
One.
What?
it was
Yo.
one.
You sound so depressed about it.
Yeah, it sounds depressing. One. Like, the amount of disappointment. It's just,
I'm
Yeah.
just like,
That that was
one.
it. It was getting ready to go in and boop, and that was it. The end.
oh my
Oh yeah,
god.
that's mature ejaculation for sure.
Oh yeah. Like,
That
was
was
he
it.
horrified? Or like, how did he react to this? What first of all, how did he react to this happening? And then what did you do? Because I find it is so awkward when certain things happen with men. Like, something like that, like, all the things you're thinking and feeling inside, but at the same time, especially if you care about this dude, like, you don't want to ruin him, right? You don't want to tell him what you really, really, really think about this.
Right.
So how did you handle this?
Um. Well, he said, and I said, huh?
Mm.
And then he said, I don't know what happened. And that was it. That was our conversation.
Shar, did you get the? But you didn't get the. It's just so good, baby. It's just so good. You didn't get that.
No. Just
Just
what?
what?
I don't know.
Huh?
That is
I don't
tragic.
know what happened. And that was the end of that.
Aww.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Like, it's so sad. I kind of imagine, like, that was his first time, because I feel like that's a first time thing to do. Like, you've been waiting all your life for this moment, and now it's finally happening. I can't believe it's happening. And because I can, like, for me, a lot, I get off on myself, right? What I'm doing, what I think I look like. Well, how I've airbrushed myself in my mind, and I look like doing this thing, right? And stuff like that. So I, like, me saying, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this. Oh my god, like, I can't believe I look like," you know what I mean? Me telling myself stuff like that amps me up real fast. So I'm thinking, if you've been a virgin for a really long time and you've waited your whole life for this moment, going, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing it. I'm about to put it in. Oh my god, I'm putting it in. Oh my god, it touched it." Like, I can see how that could happen, like, trying to be compassionate. I could see it if he was a virgin, how that would happen. Or if he did it once, like, so long ago, and it's so long ago, it's a distant memory he can't quite even grasp onto, and he was drunk at the time or whatever, so this is like his only this is like a first time. I can see it. I can. It, it's a virgin thing to do. Or like coming in your pants, right? Like,
Hmm.
grown men don't do that, but teenagers do that. Like, she was sitting on your lap for too long. and she just rolled back on it once, and that was it. Now you got to go to the bathroom and try to clean that up, right? Like I've heard these horror stories from guys, but it's always when they're kids, and that's normally before they're really sexually active, right?
Well, I had a friend tell me that um, usually, now I can't prove it because I ain't been out there with a lot of partners, so I don't know. But she had told me that a lot of men that are born late to their mothers
Mm-hmm.
that change baby normally, they're the ones that have more sexual problems. I have no data or
Yep.
nothing. It's just something I remember she mentioned to me, and that's all I can tell you. I don't know. I ain't researched it or nothing.
I have data. Actually, I have a lot of data on
Uh-oh.
stuff like this. I know, right? But these are actually relevant things in psychology in the studies that I've taken. So, for example, the more boys that a woman has, right, or the more brothers that a family has, the younger. Like, so let's say there's 5 boys, right? It's very likely the higher the probability it is that your son will be gay, or have gender identity issues. So like when you have your fourth boy, he like now has a 35 or 30% chance, and then when you have your fifth boy, he now has a 50% chance, and you have your seventh boy, he now has an 85% chance, like that. Like those aren't the actual statistics, the actual percentage, but the percentage goes up dramatically, and they figure this stuff out, right, by talking to people from the LGBT community, and then uh, putting them in an age category, like, so how many siblings do you have? Are you the eldest, youngest, middle? Like, where do you fall? And looking at those statistics. Also, the older the mother is. So the older that the mother is at the time of your birth, even if she's only had one kid, ups your issues of gender identity and sexuality. Now, why is this important? Well, because the thing is at 2 different stages of development, actually at various stages, but at two distinct ones of the fetus developing, right? The body and brain are flooded with testosterone. It doesn't happen together though. So the body is flooded with testosterone first, and then later on, the brain is flooded with testosterone, right? Now, the amount that it's flooded, for how long, all of those things can affect the baby later on in life, once this baby is now an adult, once this baby's now reached puberty, right? So they're not 100% sure of exactly how, except to say that the different areas in the brain, and also the different potentials for areas of your body to grow, to be sensitive, so on and so forth, all are impacted by this testosterone release, or the lack thereof of a testosterone release if there's a release of estrogen instead. So, and those problems, this is why when I say, oh, they're birth defects, this is why. A lot of these problems stem from utero. And if you look back, oops, mommy was 42 when she had you. Mommy was 47 when she had you, right? The older you get, the more significant the chances of your child having some type of birth defect.
Mm.
And birth
I,
defects are not just obvious ones at birth, but like again, as we said, they can present later on in life in a variety of ways, including being testosterone deficient, basically. So, because what causes ED, a big thing that causes ED is having low testosterone or high estrogen and levels in your system.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay.
Right, and that's all created what releases all of those hormones, right? The pituitary gland. So if there's something goes wrong with the pituitary gland, with some part of your brain development, even though we don't think it seems perfectly fine, your kid seems to be growing, everything seems to be fine, oh, that's not where the problem happened, that's not where the little glitch happened. Glitch will happen when he's 22 years old, you'll see. Right, like it's like
Ooh wee.
yeah, just waiting. It's just the bomb sitting in your body waiting to explode. Um, So, and I love the fact that they do these studies. And you have to go find them though. They're not the flashy, fun new studies, because what they're doing is they're compiling data, right? They're looking at every single, so they'll find 10,000 patients who come into the clinic who have ED, right? And then they'll look at the age of onset of ED. They'll look at the statistics as far as they'll take that person's information, go back to the birth records, find the age of the parent at birth, and how many siblings were inside of the family, and blah blah blah. And then what they do is they run that all through a statistics program that cross checks all of this information, and then says, oh yeah, you know what, there's definite connection here between age of mother and onset of ED, because all of these patients seem to be in this age category, or a lot of them seem to be in this age category.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
It's
well,
interesting what they can do.
yeah. Wow. All right. Well, that's summed up. Thank you so much.
No problem, anytime.
Wow.
I love
Well,
it.
Um, well, ladies,
yeah.
I'm gonna go. I just wanted to come up and talk to y'all for a little bit and say hi to Ruby. She told me to come up sometime, so
Yes.
I did. And
Yeah.
thank you so much, Tara, for allowing me on your platform. I love talking to women and getting your perspective on things. So
Anytime. We're here Fridays and Saturdays.
awesome, wonderful. You all have a good night and a wonderful weekend.
You
You
too, darling.
too.
Thank you for coming. It was so nice to talk to you again, for real. It really brightened up my night. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Okay, good night.
All
All
right.
right,
Good
nighty
night.
night. All right, verbal assassins flowing through. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Whoop, 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 whoop. She get a applause, don't she? Yeah, I think
Oh
so.
yeah.
All right.
She always brings some fire. I love that. See, and I think she's proof again. The older you get, the more you don't care. You're just honest with it. You just let people know it is what it is, right? I'm still not quite there. I say all the time, right? I care very much. I do. I'm trying, but I care. Um, right? But I feel like in about 7 years, I'm just not gonna care anymore. It's just that's what it's gonna be. Oh, you don't like me? Oh, you think this, but I don't care, man. I ain't got time to care, right? I think especially once I get some kids, gotta pop some kids out, and then once those kids come out, I'll be so busy running around after them. I don't have time to care about anything else, right? Like, man, I'm sitting down drinking some wine, talking to some people. I don't care about nothing. I just want to say some stuff I can't say around my babies. That's all.
Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
I will, I do agree with that. Get a little older, you get a little bolder. That
Mm-hmm.
does happen.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
100% agree.
Yeah. But don't be wrapped up, folks, with this Valentine. It's not a big deal.
Mm-mm.
It is just another day. Definitely made up. And there is some
Mm-hmm.
history about some stuff, but you can look that up on your own and see what rabbit holes you want to go down with that. But it's a lot of fun if you just love the person you with every day. Make
Mm-hmm.
him and her comfortable every day. Be
Yes.
glad to see you and feel loved every day. That's what it's
Mm-hmm.
about, if you ask me.
Yes. Yes. And there's a show. It just started on Netflix. It's called Love Is Blind, or Blind Love, something like that. Y'all know it's one of their 3-week events that they have, where once a week they will release like 5 episodes of it, and they do that 3 weeks in a row.
Mhm.
Now, these are all people who would like to get married now. Some of these people are up to their mid 30s, and they're looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right. And so the whole thing is, you go on dates with people. That is, you go step in this pod, right? And they're in another pod on the other side of the glass wall, can't see anything about each other. So all you can hear is each other's voices and opinions. That's about it, right? Um, and then based on that, you pick someone. And once you found the right one or whatever, you propose. And then there you go. And then from there, you finally meet the person, and then you go about your business. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is
Mm-hmm.
because all of these people, like when you listen to the stories, especially the women's stories, all of them
Uh-huh.
say the same thing. They were focusing on the wrong things. A lot of them were focusing, like the one girl, Jessica, she was talking about the fact that she just cared so much about the social validation she was getting from men. So it was all about what the Joneses thought about her having that man. Like, does she get, status points, cool points, you're so lucky points for having the particular man she did. So yeah, she likes a more attractive man who's, he's tall, he's enviable. And so she would focus on
Mm.
that first, which of course did not bring her forever love. Um,
Right.
or, she cared about whether she was getting the right kind of gifts to brag about and stuff like that. And so she talks about that.
Mm.
And what you see with every other couple, right? And I'm not going to ruin it for y'all, right? But what you see with every other couple is people who really came there. They recognize, well, not every other couple. There's one couple, the only black couple. Man, that whole thing was a trade wreck. And honestly, I'm gonna say I do not blame the woman at all. This is all on the man, all on the man. I'm not gonna ruin it. I'm not gonna give the spoilers right now, but I'm just gonna say, my God. But with every other couple, you see people who came to drop their preconceptions about surface foolishness and what everyone else is going to think and so on and so forth, and just find people that they actually connect with. That, well, it's scary how much you could feel something for you after only a few days. How much we have in common, how all of a sudden I feel like I can, pour my soul out to you when I've never shared this stuff with anyone, stuff like that, right? Focus on the important stuff. And now you're engaged before you ever saw each other, right? So it's almost like self-imposed arranged marriage in a way. And everyone else you can see came there to really do that. And what you can see with her is that as much as she's like literally, I think she's the oldest woman there. She's 34. And or yeah, 34. And for her, as much as she said she used to be that person and blah blah blah, right from the very beginning, she is worried about what everyone's going to think about everything. That's all everything is. So the guy that she ends up picking, she starts at the very beginning. She's worried about the age difference. He's younger than her, significantly younger, but still. um and then after she gets over the age difference, well, then she temporarily falls in love with someone else who doesn't really fall in love with her, but it's just because he said the right words faster. And then she comes back. Yeah, I know, seriously. And she comes back crying and da da da. And of course, this guy takes her back. Why? Because he actually came to do something different. I'm not gonna,
Mm-hmm.
he said the whole adage about if you love something, you let it go. If it comes back, it was yours, right?
Okay.
Um, and then she meets him in real life. And then it's back to the keeping up with the Joneses thing. You can tell that that's what her issue is. Um, and this Valentine's Day thing and the expectations we set on it, and how much you'll be disappointed or angry or upset if you don't get something, or if you don't get the right things and whatever. I'm just going to say, think about how much of that is, for bragging rights, and how much of that has anything to do with your relationship. Because you don't want to end up like Jessica, because I'm telling you, I know for sure by the end of this event, there's no way she's going to end up anything other than alone, doing the same thing she's always been doing, because caring about all of this stuff on the surface and to keep up with the Joneses, and so your friends approve and everyone envies you and whatever, is not the point, and
Mm.
is never going to bring you happiness. Nope.
At one time, all mattered was what your family said, your
Hmm.
parents.
Right.
That used to, bringing this particular boy home. That was they had to that boy had to pass a test with mom and
Hmm.
dad.
Hmm.
That was the main thing at one time.
It's
And
so
unfortunately, I don't hear a lot of that happening now. But that used to be something I was concerned with, and because they had teased me about it when I shared it with on other women's channel that I met this guy, and there was just it was I wasn't even going to call that man when I found out that he was a stripper. I wasn't calling
oh,
that guy because I'm like, I can't bring this man home to my
mhm,
parents.
right.
That was it. So I'm like, might as well leave him where I found him.
Mhm.
And nothing I could do
Mhm.
with this. But that was important to me, what my parents thought of who I was going to be with. So they had to
Yeah.
pass the test.
Right, exactly. Right? Because, sure, you might want your friends obviously to like your significant other, but, you're, he or she's not marrying into your friends' circle. They're marrying into your family. It's
Right.
relations. That's a much different thing. In person, you're spending Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving and, birthdays and christenings and whatever with for the rest of your life. Like that, you know, again, adjust our priorities a little bit maybe,
Hmm.
because you're right, it doesn't matter. And I mean, I'll tell you another reason why it doesn't matter, because your friends are going to they're going to find something to clown on your man about. Oh, he's not tall enough, he's not good looking enough, he got too much this nose, too little that lip, whatever it is, right? They'll find something that they don't like about him, that's not good enough about him, or something about his personality, something about his background, education, work, something, right? Now,
Yeah.
that's called hating, okay? Um, and they're gonna hate harder, actually, not if you get the perfect man on surface, on paper, but if you get a man who sweeps you off your feet and it's clear when people see him that he adores you, that he has eyes for no one but you, he adores you, he treats you like a queen, and that you are genuinely in your soul happy. When they see that, that's what they're hating on. That right there, because that's what they're actually looking for, right?
Hmm.
Finding the tall guy with the this and that, blah 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 blah. That's the thing that they're looking for to replace the kind of love that they think doesn't exist. Um, if you attain that kind of love, ooh, that's where the real hating is going to begin. They're going to try to find things to break down about it. He's too fat, he's too short, he's too this, he's too that. Oh, how come you picked the light skin guy? I thought you weren't into this colorism stuff. Whatever it is, right? They're gonna find a whole bunch of things to criticize, right? And break down. Why? Because they're jealous of what you have, right? If that's the case, and I have recently told a couple women this, um, you have to recognize that when you're single, birds of a feather flock together. So you have single friends. When you are in a committed long-term relationship and you really see a future with this person, I'm not saying just drop all your friends and who cares about them, but I'm saying that you got to start shifting and finding some couple friends or finding some friends who are in long-term relationships or even better married. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because they happily in these relationships and happily married. And the reason why is because you want people who are experiencing what you're experiencing and feeling what you're feeling, going through what you're going through, struggling through what you're struggling through. Your single friends aren't. So, y'all will always be peoples, but maybe they're not the best people to talk to for relationship advice,
Right.
Just saying.
This is true.
Hmm.
Yeah, plus you know you're gonna have the keep the same friends anyway. Some friends you only get with for shopping, others for maybe dining, others social gatherings. So you have different, friends for different reasons. So of
Yes.
course they're gonna have something to say about your guy, but who cares? You the one that got to deal with them. That's why when I used to see a lot of stuff around YouTube or social media, I'll start there because that's actually where it was, not just YouTube. It was Twitter, where a lot of people was upset, according to Twitter,
Hmm.
about what's that man name? The singer. He got one name, Tyrese, the
Mm.
woman that he married. And I'm like, who cares? He's the one taking care of her. He got to spend
Hmm.
his money. He got to pay for her and all that. Why are you concerned who that man is with? It's who
Right.
he chose. I mean, that's just crazy. And I just look at it that way.
Hmm. Can I just say though,
It's
you
not
said
going to make a difference.
Tyrese. Sorry, you said
Hmm.
Tyrese. I just gotta slip this one in. What do you want from me? Right? You know the crime. I can't. I just anytime I hear his name now, because he was so gorgeous to me when I was younger. Right? I was in love with that man. I bought his CD just so I could look at the pictures. Um, and then he did that, and it just ruined like my whole teenagehood. Like,
uh,
right?
uh, his the favorite song from him is "Lately." I love that song.
Yes.
That the instruments are beautiful. If you put on a set of headsets and
Mhm.
just listen to the music when it first comes on, it's just beautiful, and then he blends right on with it. The
Mhm.
background, oh, they sound great, excellent. I'm about to play that as soon as we get off the air.
That's
But
so
yeah,
funny. I forgot. I actually forgot altogether about like every song on this album. But then you said lately, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know that. Oh my god, like there's love songs. I've been in more a position. I was looking for love songs. I didn't think of Tyrese, but that's a good song. Lately have I told you I love you, that you still mean the world to me. Like, man,
yeah,
that's a good song. That was a really good song. It really was. It was crafted
yes.
really well. Hmm.
I mean, it sounds just as I don't know how old it is, but it sounds to me listening to it today as well as it was when it first came out. That is a beautiful song.
I'm guessing it's about 20 years because I'm pretty sure I owned it when I was
Because he's
about
probably
18, maybe 17. I owned that
yeah,
CD. Yeah,
yeah, that's about right. But yeah, that is a beautiful song.
it
Love it.
really is. I'm gonna look it up because now I'm interested. How old is that song? I'm telling you, Shara, I got old without noticing. Um, and one of the ways I did. Oh, it's 1998. So 08, 18. Oh, Jesus. It's 22 years. Oh, see? I got old without noticing. And that's how you can tell.
Layla.
Yeah. Right? Because 22 years makes something an oldie. If you think about it, right? That's not current. But to me, the 90s is not oldies, right? Like the 90s is music. That's not oldies. That's normal music still to me. I know it's a
Yeah.
little bit older. In my head it's a little bit older, not 20 years older, not
Hmm.
25 years older. Not I remember things from 20 years ago, brightly because I was not like 2. I can't believe that happened to me. Like when did I get this old? Like I'm confused. 1990. I was like in the 8th grade. My God. Okay. But yeah, no, I totally agree. And see, the thing is, I don't understand why you care, not you, but I'm saying
Yeah.
you to people, why you care who someone else is checking for. Period. Who someone else got married to, who someone else produced children. Why do you care, right? Because the way I see it is this, right? And maybe I am a different species of person. I don't know. But the way I see it is this. I don't care if some guy is only checking for white girls or Asian girls or Indian girls. I don't care. Just not me girls. He only likes dark skinned girls, right? I've met guys
Hmm.
who say that. To me, I don't care. I would rather know when you tell me, I say thank you, because now you're not on my radar anymore because you're not an option. Because I only want to be with guys who are looking at me going, God damn, she's fine, right? I don't want to be like well, I guess I'll make an exception girl. Like, ew. Who wants to be an exception girl? Like, no, I'm good. And I'm certainly not trying to prove nothing to nobody. So I'm good with that. I don't want to be with some guy who doesn't thinks all black women are this, that, and the next thing. And what now I have to sit there and try to prove different, which means I'm never allowed to get angry. I'm never allowed to this, never allowed to be imperfect ever, or I'm proving the whole ridiculous stereotypes he has, right? Mm-mm. I'm not trying to go through all that stress in a relationship. I'm trying to just date someone. Like, that's it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's all I have. Let's see. Tomorrow is just tomorrow. Um,
Mm-hmm.
let's see. have a couple of articles, and I have, which I haven't been doing the what you call it, my judge and jury
I
because of
know.
time, but I am definitely going to carve a little time out. Usually, if it's a conversation, I don't like to interrupt the flow, let people say whatever they're going to say.
Right.
But I will definitely carve a little time out
Mm,
because I have a few things, and I think, oh shoot, something I got from last year. I've been holding on since
mm,
December, but yeah, I'll definitely do that to get back on track and get
nice.
some of them out of my folder. And
Mm,
what else? Let's see. And then, like I said, for March, I do have a guest, and I will reach out to him to see what date he has decided on, and also to mention about if he's willing to, ask some of those, answer some of those questions. I think he would be. So we will
mm,
see.
exciting.
And let's see. But yeah. So tomorrow, guys, the show will be at 7 p.m. It may be a little later. And let me say that because I do want to be in front and center row. There is a debate going on tomorrow, and I do want to check it out.
Yes.
And so I'll have it set for 7, and I'll just change the time to 7:30 if that's what how long it takes. Because I'm not trying to miss any of this particular debate.
Mm-mm, me
Um,
either. Thank you
okay.
so much.
Oh yeah. So definitely, I done cleared my schedule. I said my phone gonna be turned off, door locked. I ain't answering nothing. I got just pay attention to this
Mm,
because I want to see if I can get some um, answers to some questions that I have. Um,
mm.
yeah. So tomorrow is pending. Um, a tad bit after 7. I'll just put it that way. We'll
Mm-hmm.
have some news articles, some things to speak of. I have the judge and jury segment. I will get squeeze that in. And
Nice.
I do thank you all for coming to the channel, supporting. I appreciate it. Your likes and your participation in the chat room. I did mute a few times Don Teasy to laugh. It was funny. DJ
Oh Lord.
Music, I want to see that notepad that you got back there. You say you're taking some notes. And yeah. Yeah, so I do appreciate it again for you guys tuning in tonight. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Same this channel, different time, pending 7 p.m. So until then, you guys enjoy the rest of your night and take care.
Yes, yes. Cheers, y'all, and a happy Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day, or anti-Valentine's Day to everyone out there, or whatever you're celebrating, whatever it is.
W-
And if you're Canadian, yay, Family Day! I'll do it again tomorrow because Family Day is great. Okay, anyway.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
All right, cheers.